This last section of our thing today is going to be all about building your business for 26. So let's keep talking about that just for a second, because George Washington Carver, it's one of my favorite quotes, says if you do the common things in life in an uncommon manner, you'll attract the attention of the world. And granted, that might have been a comment for a different aspect of what was taking place in his life at the time. But using it today, if you think about it, if you're just hitting that pre-entered birthday wish that comes with, so what I do is I rewrite one, and then I always make sure I just leave the person's name in it so that it knows that I took it, and again, I'm giving my secret away. So now if you get one of mine and it's really, really nice, I only did it once and I sent it to 30 people, but no, I think that really attaches the personalization.
Well, so what I do, if I'm not going to do a video, because I know that all the happy birthdays, they just get buried. Yeah. And so, but when it's somebody's birthday, and if I'm not going to do a video, I'll just do a direct message on Facebook. And
that's always better too.
It's always better because it just shows you just took that extra moment.
Has anybody? Okay, so let's be honest. Has anybody ever, right, that you feel obligated to reply to that birthday thing, right? Like thank you, or heart or something, right? To every single one that you get, most of you probably somewhere in the 200-ish range by the end of the day. And if you think
next year, Nick's getting about 5.
Yeah, I'm going to get 0.
No, he's probably going to get 5 million just because everybody's going to do it just because he said that.
Everybody do it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just confuse everybody on Nick's Facebook page.
That's priceless. That's priceless. All right, everybody. Well, thanks. So I have a class coming up tomorrow in Mesa from 10 to noon, and I don't like it when it doesn't reach a lot of people. I like when I can help more than one person. I put 2 people in a room, use the same hour or 2, and have twice the results. You put 10 people in the room, you expect 10 times the results. Not everybody's going to do it, but when you're doing it something like we're doing today, and it kind of has a little bit of longevity to it because it's now posted electronically. There's a video of it. Hopefully it'll not fall on deaf ears. And this doesn't matter whether you are someone who, is really doing a $30 million, $100 million team. These are the things that helped me build my $100+ million team when I was a realtor. Well, I still am, but I'm saying when I was doing it for my day-to-day work. And so it's you can't, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is keep it simple, stupid. Let's go and look at the systems that we have set up today. The Mike and I talk about this all the time. Where did your business come from? And Nick, you brought it up, I think, last week. Where did this past year's business come from? If you don't have that knowledge to be able to say, well, I got 62 of them because I showed up at the booster for my kids' basketball event, or it was because of direct mail or because of whatever. My point is just simple. Don't overcomplicate this business. You can overcomplicate it. There's no misunderstanding there whatsoever. In fact, that's why 80% of real estate agents don't make it in the business, because they look at these other people. So my favorite comment is don't compare your insides to somebody else's outsides. And it's real important because just because they look like they're big rock stars in real estate, they could be just on a quick up pinnacle and down pinnacle. Sustainability is what you're looking for. But in the end, you're not in competition with anybody. You're really only in competition with yourself. So Michael Jackson's song Man in the Mirror, I love it because, it really just, again, basically lays it out there. If you're looking to make a change, forget in the world, let's just call it in your day-to-day life, then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and then make that change. You can have any lifestyle. You can have happiness. You can, if you're not happy, that's a choice. We always say, Mike, what's that comment that you always made? Something is, or I think Anthony Cucci started it. If you don't make a choice, that is a choice, or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't.
Right.
It was something else.
Okay.
Probably.
Well, I figured it was, but All right. So anyway, again, this, like I said, this is going to be You're going to get some meat out of this, but it's also going to be more of an overview of what you're going to get tomorrow, if you decide you'd like to come and see a little bit more. But you start with yourself. You always start with yourself. And your family and friends, they're the ones that typically overlook those things that annoy the living crap out of them, that you do or that I do. And yet, if you're humble enough and you can come up to them and you go, listen, I'm trying to better myself. I need you to be super honest with me, kind of like you would in a ChatGPT prompt. Tell me really what you think about what do I do that annoys you, and then learn about how you annoy people and try to stop doing that. Learn how to listen 3 times more than you talk. But again, go through that mental thing of looking at yourself first. And then, of course, you know me. I've been a DISC assessment fan for can't tell you how long. But the reality is, go to West USA DISC. It's on the next slide. WestUSADisc.com, and take this. It's free. It goes to the Tony Robbins website. You fill out you fill out your name to create an account, and that's really it. There's no fee. You might get called once by them to see if you want coaching. You just say yes or no, or an expanded version. But the point is, this will let you know. If you're wondering why, here's the thing. If you're wondering why you're not successful, that's like becoming consciously aware that you're not as competent as you thought you were. And that's a good thing. I do this all the time. I mean, anybody who's really good at what they do doesn't really always think they're very good at what they do, but what they do is they basically own it. And they just say to themselves, how can I be better? I need to know me better before I can help anybody else. So, when you get that, this is the old DISC profile down here at the bottom. They used to have 4 charts, and now they give you this lengthy thing because they wanted to remove it from easy detection. They wanted you to have to sign up for the coaching in order to be able to learn who you were. So go take that, go to ChatGPT and Google, it's free. Upload your PDF that they send you into there, and then use this exact script here. So go back up there and put this script in, and ask it to reevaluate it this way, and it'll give you the old-fashioned looking chart. It makes it super simple on people, and it also you can keep asking it more and more and more. Is this an activity? Like, for instance, let's say somebody comes up to you and says knocking on doors works 1 out of 10 times. So if you need to find 2 listings this week, go knock on 20 doors. But I don't mean knock on the doors, Mike. We all know, right? You have to have a real estate conversation with the person who answers, and they have to be of legal age. So, but it's not like dialing a phone number nobody picked up and you go, that's 1.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, it really does help in your business, understanding how you're wired. What activity do I like to do? What activity would I wake up every morning and not have a problem going and doing? For an introverted person or an S or a C, those people don't like to wake up in the morning and go meet people. But for a D and an I, for different reasons, they'll wake up in the morning and they're out the door because they understand their business relates to people, and the more people you find, the more business you're going to do. We have our coaching department, and I think this is so totally misunderstood. Coaching is someone who's there to help you succeed, not somebody who's there to tell you what to do. Coaching is all about you. It's you getting out of the box you're stuck in, and the coach themselves will help you identify what that parameter is. What is it that's limiting you or preventing you from hitting a home run? So the coaching system at West USA gives you the opportunity to have what I call a discovery meeting with our coach. So you go to the coach in your office, you go to your office manager, you see if there's somebody that they recommend pairing you with as a coach. But that person is there to help you identify what you need to do. Todd might want to do 30 deals this year, but Lynn, my wife, might want to do 8. And if I'm trying to teach her how to do 30 when she only wants to do 8, a lot of that's going to fall on deaf ears. So this economic chart that's in the coaching system material is there for you. You will receive this. They will do this in front of you with you giving them what your desired income level is. And then it will reverse engineer exactly how many people you're going to need to talk to at any one particular time. So for instance, you start this off in the top, you put in the number of closed units. You see on the right-hand side in that same black box, it says $162,000 with income. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's rewrap our heads for a second. Do you really need to earn $162,000? I mean, if you see the vision and you see the light, go do it. Think big. But at the same token, if you're not making $35,000 right now, building a plan that's going to get you to $162,000 might be a little aggressive for you. I mean, so in other words, if you put 6 in this category, I'll just do some quick math, you're going to earn $80,000 doing 6 closings at an average of $450,000, which, as you know, that's the median in the armless right now. So in essence, I think we are way overcomplicating, and we're not really doing the math to identify, what someone really needs to become successful and meet their bills. Let's just put it that way. Let's call it meet the bills that you have. And then furthermore, if you decided you want to expand your income and you're knocking out these things, then your coach will identify you're having better numbers, you're closing more, you're doing more. Maybe you're just showing up more. But whatever it is that you're identifying and the coach is identifying that you're doing, that's what you're going to end up double downing on. So you'd put in whatever your average sale price. It might be a particular neighborhood. Why are there 2 average sale and average listing prices? Because you can pick your neighborhood you want to farm and the listings that you want to go after, but you can't pick the ones from the buyers. Buyers are going to come up and tell you what they want and the price range they can afford. But you might want to market at a $900,000 community, so you'd put $900,000 in this particular section right here. But again, coach should help you do this. Average sale price and closings, and you put the same number in. This can either be historical or, just like I do, use the median if you don't know. Take my market stats. What is the average days on market? It was 81, 82 this morning, right? So you'd put 82 in that particular. What does that change? Well, look at the very, very bottom where it says average days on market, sellers closed listings, inventory turn, average number of monthly listings required to achieve your goals. If you don't have 2 properties in active listing you have to have 2 properties active at any one time throughout the year for you to be able to allow the laws of
I have a quick question,
sure. Yeah,
and I know this is a dirty
Yep,
word, so I'm going to refer to it as bananas.
Mm-hmm.
So if
You notice I cut them out.
The bananas?
Yeah, down at the bottom where it says times, and then in the yellow, the bottom yellows, I took the specific numbers out.
Okay, so I just didn't know what number your the spreadsheet is basing it on.
Well, I would just say that if you think of what most people might be thinking is a reasonable compensation for someone, that's the number I was using.
Okay.
I wasn't putting in there a number that meant that you had to have so much area of specialty that you command more money for your services, nor am I anticipating you're an idiot and you're out there and you do a horrible job of real estate and it's undervalued. So this is just a typical based on based on NAR statistical data that they're sending out on the reports. But good question. So that's the bottom yellow. So you only have the ability to change the items in yellow. The items in red you change up front. But again, I'm not teaching you to fill the sheet out really. I'm just telling you this is what you're going to receive when you go to coaching. So what ends up happening is it tells you, again, by your numbers, not from anybody else. This is what did you want to do this year? I wanted to close 12 units. I put up there at the top at number 1. Okay, well, if you notice annually on the left-hand side, it's telling you how you're going to get there. To the right-hand side of that annual, it says monthly. So on the seller side of the calculations, you need to find 2 sellers every single month that say to you they're interested in selling their home. That's all. Then out of that, you should be able to get 1 appointment. Out of that, you should be able to take that listing. The way the laws of averages work, you can't take 0.6, 0.8, so it's going to round up to the next number. But basically, if you find 2 people, you should walk away with 1 listing. Then, of course, you're going to get, and it's typical, list it and they will sell. Yes, we went through a marketplace that was, a little bit longer in marketing time, but now we're not. So we take a look at this, and you should sell that particular property. There is a 20% estimated fallout rate in escrow, but again, we're going to just anticipate that, days were good. You did a good job in that one deal that you put in escrow closes. So that in itself would earn you $6,750. Well, hold on. What's that word way up at the top? Monthly. What's the word down at the bottom? The number 6,750 in just generalization. Would anybody not want $6,750 in income per month right now? Okay, well, wait a minute. We're not even talking about what's on the other side. Look on the right side. You have buyers. But look at that. You need to find 160 this year, or to the number to the right under monthly, 14 buyers who tell you, 14 people who tell you that they're interested in buying a home. This would be monthly. Then you're going to end up with 2 appointments. This is just a national statistic. 2 is, 10%. You're going to end up with 2. Then you're going to have a conversation about buyer-broker agreements, and obviously one might not want to sign it, one might want to sign it. You have also the buyer-broker to show property documents, so that's okay too. But this is entering into an actual representation agreement, an exclusive buyer-broker agreement. So you get that 1 out of the 2 of them, and then that person is going to be loyal to you, because no matter how they do it, if they buy a house during that particular duration of time, you're going to get paid.
Yep.
And then, of course, just because we used the same average sale prices up on the top left, we're getting the same revenue result at the bottom. But this is per month. So in all practical terms, if you found 2 people that were interested, said to you, I'm thinking of selling my home, and 14 people who engaged with you that said, hey, I might be interested in looking for a home, these are the numbers you're going to get. And to be able to sell one and list one, and then that deal to close. So the reality is here that, $10,000, $12,000 a month is not unrealistic if you just did 2, 1 listing and 1 buyer side. And then, so let me just finish going through these. So these are the monthly sides. These are the income sides annually. And then, of course, like I said, down here at the bottom, I didn't realize I had put some arrows in to this section, but this is what the days on market at the top represent. So how many listings do I have to have active at any one time if I really want to hit these goals and build it, and they will come? So, again, once you know how you're wired and you understand what activity, you still don't know what activity yet, but you know that I need to do something. And the next question usually in the back of your mind is, well, how do I get that? Well, I'm going to tell you. If I was getting into real estate today, understanding all of the things that I'm hearing all of you say, the difficulties, the market conditions, all of these things that you're using, I say we first because I'm part of you, but you are using to create your own personal obstacles of why you're not successful. If I listen to all those things, 80% of you belong on the team. Because if you're not able to wake up in the morning and go make your business show up, then you need to be on some kind of a program where somebody else is making that business show up, and they're counting on you to close that business. And of course, you're going to get a steep compensation split. They'll let you do your business probably for a higher split, but when it's them that they had to pay to generate, or their multiple years of experience have had to pay to generate that buyer or seller, usually it's a buyer. They don't give sellers to team members usually. But it's one of those things where you're going to get that. They're expecting you to close that deal. They're expecting you to feedback. They're expecting you to call your team leader, and have conversations about how do I continue to maximize to close this deal. But that's being on a team. Or you could get a coach, and everybody says, oh, I don't want to pay a coaching fee. Well, guess what? If you're not closing anything, you're not paying anything, and you're also not eating, and your spouse is going to tell you need to get a job. I love the Nanny McPhee movie, because the reason at the end or somewhere in there when the kids want her to stay, her comment was something along, and I don't have it in my memory bank, but it's something like, when you want me, you can't have me. But when you don't want me, when you don't know you need me, I'll be here. And that's really what a coach is like. This coach isn't there to tell you how to run your business, to get into your stuff, and nor are they necessarily asking you to join their team. They're there to promote you, to help you get what you want faster.
Well, our saying's always, and oh man, because I remember, and I won't get into the story. I got into it with an agent who just at the end of the day was really upset that they were being charged to have a coach who's giving up their time, right, and their income, and hadn't closed anything. And I said, listen, man, at the end of the day, 0 plus 0. I'm no math major, but 0 plus 0 always equals 0.
Absolutely. Yep, I love it. And of course, do it yourself, DIY. We all love that. That's what YouTube's for. Well, there's not really a good real estate training on YouTube to help you out. So again, there's a lot of resources that we have here at West USA for you. And my thing is always like this, the squeaky wheel is the one who gets the grease. If you need help, we aren't here to make you feel bad because you're not hitting your numbers, or that we think you're less of a real estate agent because you're not doing $100 million a year in volume. We care about you if your goal is to do 3 sales this year. It doesn't matter. If you want some help, that's what we're here for. But you have to reach out. I recommend reaching out to your office manager. They are brilliant. They know all these things that I'm talking about today, and will be able to position you so that you can help money. But again, remember, you're not playing against anybody else. So don't start feeling bad when somebody else is saying they're selling houses and you're not. We need to help you figure it out, and that's what it's all about. We have to be honest with ourselves.
Well, I would say, yeah, I would agree with you. Don't feel bad if other people are selling houses. Take that as encouragement that houses are being sold.
Good point. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not necessarily just the market. Like they have figured it out, and so you've got to figure it out. If nobody was selling houses, okay, then
different point.
Different point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good. So I'm not going to go through each of these, but you've heard Mike and I talk about these, Nick, for ad nauseum. But we got to stop referring to people. Mike, you did a great job today, and I want to commend you because I heard it. You no longer said your contacts, your database. You referred to people as human beings. You refer to them as yes, I do have a group of people who I've done business with. Yes, I have a group of family and friends, and they get different messages. Remember when he said that? So in essence, it's no longer, you're not talking about databases of people. That is so unfriendly. You might want to look at it if you have no relationship with those people. You could consider it that way. But here's just some quick rules. We'll go into it, like I said, tomorrow more. Sphere of influence, contact to contract ratios for every 6 people that you know. At the end of a year, if you're properly communicating with them, they should give you 1 sale per year, per 6 people in your database. Then we can look at it from this perspective. This is one of the pages that's in that the coach's material that they'll share with you if you go in the business planning session. But again, these numbers all carry over from the front. So if you're working with your personal sphere of influence and you weren't going to really do good at making them your ambassadors, you just had those people in your database. Look at the number on the right-hand side. 72 people in your database, if you're just properly using your CRM, should yield 2 transactions per month or 12 per year. Just this section based on ratio. Well, let's keep moving because we're running out of time. So farming direct email here is 50-1. So if you don't know people and you're just mailing stuff in the EDDM or a email campaign, typically the odds are a 50-1. So I'm not talking about one person's going to reply and say, hey, tell me more. I'm talking about a contract, actually making money. So that's 50-1. So do the math, and you can see, looking through that, you'd have to have basically 600 people that you're farming at any one time. So 7,200 touches a year of the 600 people will automatically, if this is the only thing you're doing, you'll close 12 deals this year based on statistics. So then we go into ambassadors. This is what Mike and I talk about ad nauseum. We talk about Michael Mayer. We talk about Brian Buffini. We talk about anybody who's really come to the realization that your business success is about the people that you know. And if you don't manipulate and work with those people, you've got nothing to sell when it comes time to sell your business. Your business sale, like an insurance salesperson, is how many times do people repeat business with me, and then you've tracked it and you can sell the track. That's what you're selling, is the track. And that's what determines what your money is.
And I know, let's go back to the other side. I know we make fun of you all the time. because you always bring up the 7 levels of
Oh,
communication.
I know.
But my personal opinion is it's the one book in real estate that every agent should read every single year. I probably reading it every other year, and I should do it every year because every time I read it or I do Audible, it's like it's just a reminder. Or I'm at the point now where it's like the movie Airplane. Every time I watch it, I see a scene that I've never seen before. Right?
Yeah,
And I've watched it 32,000 times, and so I would just say, if you've never read it, buy it.
Yeah.
And if you have, I just read it every year.
Yeah. There's some. It's without. Well, all I'll tell you, I'll just leave you with this cliffhanger. An average Joe was able to become the top realtor in a community following that system. So just something to drag your teeth on. When you're dealing with people that are referring people to you, look at that number 3. Imagine to get to your 12. Imagine that all you needed to do all year was find 3 people that would annually automatically come in contact with 5 people per year that are ready, willing, and able to do real estate. I mean, what would it take to befriend those 3 people to get them to come to that particular point of contribution for you? Or maybe it's 6 people because, you're just starting this program off. But whatever it may be, typically one person, for every one person they're going to come in contact with 5 people. Open houses, don't lose it, because open houses, they're working again. Mike had conversations about a couple of listings that he had, and he went on, and he had a buyer for a property. And, so buyers are still, and NAR says buyers are still touring homes. And if they have a comment in the NAR statistics that say that basically 12% of the people who tour your open house should do business with you. They should list with you or buy with you. And approximately 10 to 12% should list with you. So, or better yet, just say 25% of everybody who comes into my open house should do business with me. The question is, again, to Mike's looking in the mirror. If they're not.
Well, I think with open houses, and I know we're up
Yeah.
against the clock. The thing with open houses is that there's always 2 types of agents. Agents that think that open houses are awesome and it works for them, and agents that say open houses are a waste of time. And for me, open houses, it's a waste of time if you don't know how to do an open house, and you don't have the proper systems, and you don't know what to say when somebody walks in and so forth. Because the agents that do, I mean, man.
Well, I put it right at the very bottom.
Learn how to
master the open house, and start off by going to a new home community and asking a new home sales agent to provide you with a feature benefit demonstration on a particular product they have. Okay, and this just shows you the open houses. This is a little different, but again, if you were to, for all practical purposes, hold those 12 open houses, or you expected 12 people from each of the open houses, again, it will show you how you can generate those numbers.
I don't want to. I mean, I should probably get permission from him, but I was talking with Ryan Reed the other day, and they have this agent, and I'm totally. If Ryan, if you're listening, we're stealing this from you. But his new agents, they got to do 100 open houses in 100 days.
Oh, wow.
And he said you'd be amazed because the first 30 days, it's tough, and they have the same results as every other, but then they begin to learn how to overcome those objections. And I'm like, man.
But you throw them in the fire, throw them in the water, teach them to swim. Again, that actually does work. And there was a Realtor magazine. You might be able to still research it. Her name was Susan. She was a Florida agent. She just came out of real estate school. She went to work for a broker. She was dying. She went to work for broker number 2, and the broker said to her, "Listen, go hold an open house every single day. Find an open house." Now, again, there's an art to what open house, and as Mike said, you got to learn how to do it right. But she did that at the end of her first year in real estate. She sold 103 homes.
Yeah.
And it really was just because of that. Okay, know your market. You've got to know if somebody comes up to you and say, "What's the least expensive 3-bedroom home out there on the marketplace?" You need to know. I don't care where it's located. If it's in, Maricopa, if it's in, Ajo, not really. It's Greater Phoenix Metro. You need to know the least expensive 3-bedroom because that's what gets people out of the couch and out of the basement of their parents' homes. 3-bedroom, 1,300 square foot homes and larger because the rooms are bigger and they usually have a great room. 4-bedroom homes, least expensive property out there. 4-bedroom plus 2,000 plus. Why? Secondary bedrooms are 12 by 12 and they usually include a family room for the difference in the square footage. 5-bedroom big box. But you need to have this go and this report from MLS dumped into your lap every single Friday. And then that way you share it with your team, you share it with yourself. And now when you're having conversations with people, you know exactly where each of these properties are. It might not be where they want, but you can shut them up when they say, well, there's no such thing as a $490,000 4-bedroom home. Yeah, there is. Action planning. So everything ends with this, and it really does. I have more slides, but I'm not going to, I don't think, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe
you got one more after
okay,
this.
maybe I made them through. But the action planning concept is, that the thing that says if you fail to plan, you plan to fail is only partially right. Because a plan gives you gauges to evaluate your success. You're moving forward. And what is success? Success is I'm doing something better today than I did yesterday. That's my definition of success. And then of course your volume to be able to pay for your livelihood, that also equals whether this is the right career for you. But you have to have a plan. And this plan is not a business plan. This is I wake up in the morning and what am I going to do? Some of my best agents that were working on my real estate team were single parents because they couldn't come to work until 8:30 because they had to drop their kids off at school at 8:15, and they had to leave at 3:30 because they had to go pick up the kids from school. So think about it. These people entered brand new and they left being some of the most successful people in the company. Why? Because they're on purpose, because they only have 5 hours to do this. Versus if you have all day, it's easy to procrastinate the day away. But when you got kids that you just dropped off and now you're kind of singing hallelujah because you got some peace of mind, and then you can jump into real estate, do something that's going to matter in your life, whether it's secondary income or your major income. But I will tell you, I was a single dad for 9 years, raised 3 daughters. They were 5, 9, and 10 when I became the full custodian of them. And I can tell you that it's difficult. I totally appreciate what anybody who's a stay-at-home parent has to go through. Been there, done that. But I will tell you this, they're some of the hardest working people because they know they have limited time to be able to get involved. So, take that into consideration. This also explains to you can go back into it, and this explains a little bit of that. The first thing you need to think about is when you're planning your calendar for next year is how do you unwind? How do you make life worthwhile? How do you make life worth living? Well, the only way we accomplish those things is if we get to do what we want to do a couple of times a year. So whether that's vacationing, if it's at the beach, if it's, going to Mexico, whatever it might be, all I'm saying is you got to plan that time first. Then plan the time that you want to show up at your kids' soccer events or after school, sporting events. And then real estate gets planned around that. It's not the other way. You don't plan your life around your business. You plan your business around your life. That's basically what we'll talk about. We'll go deep into the action plan. So when you do leave tomorrow, you will be able to implement everything we talked about.
Really good stuff. So I just can't help but think there's some people going, oh, well, it's all the way over in Mesa. And if you got that, I'm just saying, if that's your mentality.
Yeah. But, or get your office manager.
Really good stuff. Again, Todd's going to be at the Mesa office tomorrow between 10 and 12. Was it?
Between 10 and 12.
Between 10 and 12. So just go to your dashboard, go on the calendar. And again, if you're not with West USA, you're more than welcome to join us. I'm sure Todd would love to have you. Just go to westusacalendar.com. Leave you with the quote of the day. It always seems impossible until it's done. Go out. Go home.